What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and we are back to talk about Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 4, Revenge of the Bride. Y'all, this wedding looked real Candy Burris and Todd Tuckerish. Maybe they had the same planner. Let's just get into it, shall we?
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming here with a force. Yeah, blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, in a rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life, man. But thank God for the journey that's good plus. Yeah, gratitude is a must. Yeah, blessings all for my right hand. But I toast to the friends that they love to be Lord. One time, sit down in a class and we force it. Only see the road and they go on with the road.
Looking for ways to improve your health? Look no further. Visit www.shayreneeonline, where we provide healing beyond the prescription pad. We have hand-blended teas and herbs that are going to provide you with ultimate immune health, cold-pressed juices, as well as sea moss gels that are going to provide you with your daily vitamins and nutrients in just 2 tablespoons. Shop www.shayrenee.net and receive free shipping on all orders over $75. Don't wait, because a healthy life is ahead.
So, y'all, we are here to talk about Episode 4, but y'all, I ain't did 1, 2, and 3, so we may reference some things throughout. Let me say this. I'm going to talk about Sweet Tea. I don't know how sweet she is, or maybe how naive she is. That she might need to be renamed Naive Tea, okay? Because the tea is still brewing, all right? Homegirl said they asked her what, changed after she got the ring. She talking about she got more access to the money, okay? She real country. It's given a lot. But I think that her and Dr. Greg will work just fine as long as she get pregnant, because then he gonna be like, damn, I married somebody 23 years younger than me and I still ain't got no damn baby. So I hope he gets the baby that he wants out of this situation. Also, Phaedra, you knew you was dead wrong bringing Quad to that daggone bachelorette party. And Sweet Tea, you blew up. Like, she turned into daggone, there was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I said, girl, what? Sis turned into Hercules. I mean, into the Hulk. I said, what is happening right now? Like, her emotions go from 0 to 100 real quick. Then you sit up there and tell your life story to Heavenly, talking about the flaws of your husband and all this, that, and the third, and you really thought that was going to go over well. Clearly, you've watched the show. You try to say you don't. But we know you watched the show because you inboxed Greg. There is no reason for you to know Dr. Greg. You know him from being on the show. You know that Quad didn't have children with him. You know he wanted kids. You know they had struggles in their marriage. It's because you watched the show. So Sweet Tea might be a little lying tea, okay? Then what really was puzzling to me is that at the bachelorette party, she was extremely upset with her sister. Then you had this calm come over you when you saw Quad. Like, you wanted to prove yourself to her for some reason. And Toya, you are the biggest mean girl of the crowd, because you sat up there and threw Quad out of there talking about yeah, this is your party, Sweet Tea, but it's really, I threw this party for you, but it's really my party. Toya, you are such a hater where it comes to Quad, but I get it. Y'all don't like each other, and it is what it is. So that's my quick recap of episode 1 through 4 with 1 through 3 of what I thought was important. So let's roll on into episode 4. Episode starts off where Phaedra hosts Dr. Jackie and Heavenly. Jackie wasn't feeling Phaedra dog. Like, she's just like, I don't want Jack Frost nipping at my toes. Okay. Get him right on up out of here. I don't want to. I came to see you, not your dog. And I get it. Like, a lot of people that have dogs, they feel like because their dog is small that people could be okay with it. But everybody is not a dog lover. It's just, that's what it is. Okay. So Phaedra offers them slippers. Heavenly is so enamored by the home. Now, Phaedra house is absolutely gorgeous. I never really had that decorating bug. I mean, my house, it looks good. I could do more, but like I've never been that. Ooh, let me put a chandelier and let me put this on the wall. And I love a good designer or a good design in a home. I wish I had that skill. And even for if y'all knew where I worked, you would be like, you don't know how to do that stuff. But I ain't got that skill. So I love to see it in other people's homes. Me and my husband actually used to go look at model homes just to get decorating ideas and just to see what the upgrades are in the newer homes. And we actually enjoyed doing that. So it was refreshing to see Phaedra's house. So Heavenly tried to like say that Jackie was hating on Phaedra's house on the slick. And Jackie like, what you ain't about to do? She said, I said this ain't my style. I didn't say I don't like it. It looked good for her. It is ain't something I would do in my house. Heavenly always being daggone messy. So Phaedra comes up, gives them some slippers because they took their shoes off in the house. And I love how she had slippers in a bag, child. Like, girl, you is number one host. Had a whole meal prepared for them and whatnot. I'm like, dang, I gotta do better when people come over my house. I just offer them some water. She had a whole tray of food and whatnot. I'm like, okay, this is nice. So they sit down and talk, and Jackie just cuts straight to the point. She's like, why you bring Quad to the daggone bachelorette party? And Phaedra was like, listen, y'all was wondering where she was at. Y'all was asking about her, why she ain't answering the phone, why she ain't calling. So I brought her. And I felt like I didn't want there to be, she said she didn't want there to be any insecurities with Sweet Tea as far as Quad. She wanted her to go into the marriage knowing that there wasn't anything between them or that she didn't have to compare herself to Quad. All of that to say, production told Phaedra to bring homegirl to the bachelorette party. Okay, that was the way to usher Quad back into the group and drum up some drama. That wouldn't be something that Phaedra would just do on her own. Okay, let's be very clear about that. So then Jackie says, don't you think that that's kind of like messed up? Like you shouldn't have done that. And they were like, so Phaedra continues to say, well, you guys said that Quad doesn't call you. So I was trying to bring y'all back together. And Jackie in her confessional says that Quad is one of those people that comes around when it benefits her, or you'll call her or talk to her and she don't respond for 3 weeks. She's not as invested in the relationship as she would want someone to be that she's friends with. Like she don't feel like she wants to have to chase her friends. It should be equal. It should be, the communication should be back and forth. And she just feels like Quad is just not dedicated to speaking to her as much as she would like to speak to her. And that's okay. Jackie has decided to not, she don't want to be chasing behind nobody, period. Like Jackie, like, I ain't got to chase nobody to be their friend. If you don't answer my phone calls, you don't want to be around me unless it benefits you. Basically, I feel like Jackie was basically saying, you don't want to be our friend unless we filming. You don't talk to us outside of filming. You do whatever benefits you. And Jackie ain't down with that. Her and Heavenly talk 24/7, 365. Quad, she just ain't putting in the effort, so Jackie ain't gonna put in none either. So even Heavenly said, so Phaedra says, well, do you call her? And Jackie was like, no, I don't call her anymore because I've called and I don't get phone calls back for weeks. So then even Heavenly said, yeah, that does happen with Quad, but she still is in the trenches with Quad. So then Heavenly asks if they think Sweet Tea is ready to be married because she's concerned about whether or not they should get married or not. And Phaedra says she just feels that Sweet Tea is just overwhelmed and that, her and Sweet Tea her and Dr. G went to dinner. And he said he feels good about Sweet Tea and he's excited to marry her. And people, she basically said people do what they want. Like, it don't make me no never mind whether they get married or not. Then Heavenly says, listen, I don't think this gonna go right. This don't look good to me. Okay. So in the next scene, we have Dr. Cecil, Simone, and their son Miles talking about his grades in school. Cecil says, Miles talks about how he's getting C's in class and whatnot. But and Cecil asks him about his professors and if the teachers are good to him. And he says, well, it's not so much the teachers, it's more like the material or whatever. And Cecil says, well, it don't even really matter about the professors or the material. Just get the work done so you can get a good grade. It don't mean that you got to remember all that stuff. Just do enough to pass the class. That's what you need to do. Cecil is just trying to get him out of school at this point. So then Miles says that, he wants to do some, he's getting C's in class. So as he's saying that, Simone comes down the steps and says, you getting a what? Because Simone must have been a scholar in school, because C's is not what she wants to see from her kids. She basically tells her son, listen, I ain't with the shenanigans. You got a year to get out of school. I'm tired of paying for it. I want to retire. I want to run around the house naked. Okay. We ain't been having the sex the way that we should. And I want to get back there, but I need you to get the hell up on out of here. I am not going to support this coddling of you. And I'm like, Simone, you are coddling your boys, because even Michael, your other son, in the previous episode she said, are you going to move back here when you finish school? He said, yeah, if you give me an apartment. The fact that he felt confident to even say that lets me know that you are babying these boys. It's not just Cecil. And Simone says, you're not going to be like your daddy. Your daddy lived with his parents forever until he couldn't no more. Meaning until he got with her. And she was like, listen, this ain't going to be, this ain't what I want. Okay, you got to grow up. And she tells her son, you have got to leave the nest. You have got to grow up. I am not going to keep on funding your life forever. So he decided he wanted, instead of taking the last 2 classes that he needs to take to graduate in the summer, he is not going to take the classes and he's going to do a film internship. He's really wanting to get into this film thing. She's like, listen, I ain't for the internships. Hurry up and finish school. So I don't know. Simone just tired of footing the bill. She ready to retire, and she ain't trying to be working forever like damn Dr. Jackie. So moving on, Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg go to the wedding venue for their rehearsal, and she asks him about the bachelor party. And of course, he's being very vague about it and not telling her. When she was over there talking about if he take his pants off, he ain't putting them back on. I'm like, damn, you act like you ain't seen no ass in years. You ain't married to Quad no more when y'all wasn't having sex for 3 years. I would think that Sweet Tea is throwing that ass in a circle. But you was just too piped up with these strippers, honey. But moving on. He asks how she's doing and how she's feeling and where her mind is at. And she says, well, I'm just really overwhelmed with this wedding. My mom is going to know if something's wrong with me. So I'm just going to try to build my spirits up, get myself together before I go in here. And I'm really upset because Phaedra invited your ex-wife to my bachelorette party. And Dr. G was like, she did what? He was like, oh, hell no. Like, why would she invite her to the bachelorette party? And so Sweet Tea was like, you know what? We'll talk about it later. I'm not even about to stress over that right now. Let's go in here. So they go in there. The family is there. Her dad looks really young. Like, the dad got an OG spirit. So he basically shakes Dr. G's hand and says, I'm going to take my daughter's hand and put it in yours. You shake my hand, and that's going to be that. We see her mom. We see her friends, bridesmaids, all that good stuff, cousins, family, cousin Pete, all them peoples. And, it was good to see her having her family there, building her spirits. So Dr. G walks out after they practice, and he makes a phone call to Phaedra. And he says, girl, why the hell? He was like, my ace, my friend. Why would you invite Quad to the bachelorette party? What the heck were you thinking? And she basically says the same thing that she said to Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie. She's like, listen, I didn't want her to come into this thing thinking that she had to size Quad up or whatever in order to feel concrete in marrying you. So I just wanted to bring her so she could know that there's no ill feelings. There's no hard feelings. Just work through that and y'all can just move on. She won't have anything in the back of her mind about Quad. Dr. G says, well, you don't need to do that. Like, next time, just run it by me, because that wasn't a good idea. I don't think you should have did that. And Phaedra says, well, don't worry about it. There won't be another time. I'm done with it. Like, you ain't got to worry about me. So I'm just like, yeah, you had to know that was some publicity stuff. But it was interesting to see Johnny is the one that's playing in this wedding. I feel like Johnny must have planned Candy's wedding. He did. he did plan Candy's wedding. That's why this wedding, it looks so familiar. It didn't have as much stuff as Candy's wedding had, obviously, because Candy got a lot more coin, okay? But it was given very, very similar. It was giving a lower budget Candy's wedding. It looked just like it. I'm like, all you had to do was have homeboy Rico make your dress, and I'd have been like, voila, it's the same shit, because your tux look like Todd's too. I don't know. And then why did Johnny have on the same suit jacket as Dr. G? A lot of things were interesting here, but moving on. It's the day of the wedding, and I was so excited. Phaedra comes on screen, and her son Aiden is playing video games, and she's talking about his schoolwork. I'm like, oh my God, this young man is so handsome. His hair is just luscious and curly, and he is such a ham. I'm like, oh my God, this young man, her boys are really growing up. He is so handsome. I'm just like, wow, Phaedra, if she didn't do nothing right in that wedding, in that marriage to Apollo, she had some beautiful children. So then in the next scene, we see Eugene and his son Avery taking balloons to Toya because it's the day of the wedding, but it's also Toya's birthday. And their son Ashton isn't there because he's on a trip to Disney. And Toya is like, well, Ashton ain't even called me to tell me happy birthday. And she's like, well, he would have been around a bunch of girls, so I guess he ain't thinking about his mama. So they talk about the wedding and if she's upset that she's not doing anything for her birthday because of the wedding. And she's like, well, if I'm not on a beach somewhere, I ain't really tripping about it. It is what it is. So moving on, Sweet Tea is getting ready for her wedding. Her friends are talking about her, reminiscing about her high school sweetheart, Carlos. She's like, oh, that wasn't really nothing. That was just puppy love. And they were like, I thought you was going to marry him. Hell, Carlos sound like he more your damn age. Your father looked like Cool Mo D. Maybe you got some daddy issues. Was your dad around? I just want to know. Because, like, I'm sorry. I couldn't marry nobody that's 23 years my senior. That's dead. Because I am not about to be wiping your ass before I have enough years for us to enjoy each other. She gonna be taking care of him before she know it. That man about to be damn 60 soon. That's team too much. Team too much. Okay? You're going to be married to somebody that's in their 70s before y'all are married for 10 years. That's or 15 years. That's absolutely crazy to me. And then y'all probably going to have children. So you're going to be left to handle these children on your own. Which you probably are anyway when he in his more youthful years, as you say. But anyway, y'all like it, I love it. Gregory arrives to the venue and goes up to his room, and he's talking about how he's so excited to turn up. Then the next thing we see him laying in a damn chair in the hotel room sleep. Very old man vibes. Very old man. But he is 23 years older than her. Whatever. So Eugene and Toya are talking in the car, and they talk about Gregory and Quad not having sex for 3 years and it being her B-day and her not celebrating because she's going to the wedding. Now, I do want to address Greg and Quad not having sex for 3 years. That would not happen. I would have been got a divorce. Quad seems very headstrong, very controlling. And I don't want to blame it all on her, but even when they were on the show together, I did feel bad for Dr. Greg. I felt like he got to that point. Like, I feel like she was the way that she was because there was a sense of him being controlling, I guess because he was also older than her. And he was successful. He had money. But Quad was, financially successful in her own right because she wanted to work. She wanted to have businesses and whatnot. And I think that Greg, where they kind of clashed, is because he wanted to have financial control over her so that he could fully control her. And she didn't want that. So she was controlling him by not giving him what he wanted, not giving him sex, not giving him children. That's a lot. And in a marriage, you can't be selfish like that. You have to be selfless. And I don't think that Quad is selfless enough to be married to somebody. Or maybe Dr. Greg just wasn't the right man to bring out a level of submission from her. But it was just very sad to watch. It was just a lot when they were married. So everyone arrives to the wedding. Like I said, that looks awfully similar to Candy Bird's wedding. I'm just saying. And we see Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott with no mic. Catch that, T. You are not on the show. We're not even going to mic you up for you to have this little conversation that you're having with the peoples that are casted. I do not miss Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott and their bullshit. So the ladies tell them about Quad coming to the bachelorette party, and apparently Simone invited her, Contessa, to the bachelorette party, but Contessa didn't want to come. She declined the offer. I guess she's like, what you're not about to do is have me as coming up on the screen as Simone's friend, Dr. Contessa, knowing you was a whole full ass cast member on this show at one point. That would be kind of embarrassing for me too. I'm not even gonna lie. I wouldn't even want to do that. I wouldn't want to do it if I was Contessa either. So then in the next scene, we see everyone. Phaedra comes to the wedding. She looks at the wedding program and compares it to a funeral brochure. It did kind of look like that. I'm not even gonna lie. It did look like a funeral program, like the way they had the pictures and all that stuff. It was like a big pamphlet, like. But they were like, so Simone was like, well, how was your wedding program? And she said, oh no, it was on silk. She said, but you know what? That doesn't even matter. And this is more than we've gotten out of Phaedra in a while. I never knew this. Apparently, her and Apollo were together since their 12th grade year of high school. I wonder if this is the same school she went to with Nene. But they were together since 12th grade, married for 8 years. And she said, well, my marriage didn't last, so maybe I should have had my next program on something like this. At the end of the day, none of this really matters. It just matters finding the right one. And I was like, okay, Phaedra. Okay, girl, dropping some wisdom. Greg comes out. The wedding is getting ready to start. Greg looks very, very good. Greg can really put an outfit together. I will say, I used to think Quad dresses really well too. They actually look good. They looked good together. Like both of them showed up well. I used to think Quad was possibly dressing Greg, but now that I see him on his own without her, they just literally complimented each other. He can pick his clothes out very well. I will say that he old, but he can dress. Heavenly and Damon arrive, and not shortly after, Eugene and Toya come in, and they learn that their names, Heavenly and Damon's name, is not on the list. Damon is up there looking so embarrassed. Like, what? This is my friend. Like, they left their daughter going off to the prom. Like, this was Alora's prom day. And as parents, I would be pissed if somebody did that to me. I left seeing my daughter off to the prom, something that will never happen again in her life. This is a pivotal moment in her life. And I come here to your wedding and you trying to prove a point to embarrass me? So Sweet Tea says that she took her name off. She told Johnny to take her name off the list because she was pissed at her because her maid of honor told her that Heavenly was talking shit at the bachelorette party. Heavenly was just like, she sees red flags. So you take her off the list, but not Phaedra. That don't make no sense. Sweet Tea, I see you trying to drum up some drama with somebody, and I don't know if Heavenly really the one you wants to pick. Well, maybe it is, child, because everybody always got a damn problem with Heavenly, so join the damn club. So, but word on the street is production said that they not gonna film the wedding if they don't let Heavenly in anyway. So you let her in. Not because you wanted to, but because you knew good and damn well all them endorsements that you got for this wedding and whatnot, pictures and People magazine, all that stuff, none of that stuff, the designers or whoever you used for this wedding, you needed to let their credit be seen, okay? So you wanted this wedding to be filmed, for sure. So Toya and Eugene walk up and they obviously see what's going on. So Johnny comes over and tells Heavenly and Dr. Damon what Sweet Tea said, that she took their names off the list. They go off to the side. Eugene and Toya proceed to go into the venue and to let everybody else know that Dr. Heavenly and Damon's names weren't on the list. So apparently I saw on Watch What Happens Live, Heavenly said Phaedra came out, even the preacher came out, and they talked to him, and basically they let them in the wedding. So the ladies speak about Heavenly not getting in after the ceremony is over, which was a beautiful ceremony. The ladies get together and talk about Heavenly not getting in, and they were like, "Well, I'm surprised that Heavenly's name wasn't on the list, but yours was, Phaedra. You the one invited Quad to the bachelorette party." Phaedra is over there in her own world, like, what y'all not about to do is get under my skin at this damn wedding, okay? I am here looking just as fly as I wants to be, and you just are not going to get under my skin. Hell, I was invited. Got to come in. I can't be responsible for nobody else not being on the list. I'm just saying, it is what it is. And Phaedra, Dr. G talked to her the day before, so I'm pretty sure he relayed the message to Sweet Tea that, hey, I talked to Phaedra. She's not going to do that again. Blah, blah, blah. So then Greg and Sweet Tea come in for their dance. And as they're sitting down, Toya asks about, it was some girl over to the side, freak dancing in a red dress. And she said, who is that? And Eugene says, oh my God, that's the girl from the strip club. Then they all start to laugh. And like, oh my God, did he really? Because he invited one of the damn strippers to the wedding. I'm like, this man really is drunk. And he don't got his wits about him inviting a damn stripper to your wedding. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You can't be that pussy deprived. I'm just saying. So then Eugene laughs and says, no, that's not the girl. I'm just kidding. So then they talk about Toya's wedding and how it was decorated. You know, she had a blue room and a red room, and her wedding looked nice too. So everybody want to reminisce about their damn weddings at this point, child, whatever. So then we see Heavenly approach Sweet Tea on the dance floor. I'm like, Heavenly got a lot of damn balls, okay? She approaches Sweet Tea and was like, why you take my name off the list, girl? I love you. I'm happy for you. You know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Heavenly, you over here being fake because you've been talking shit about this lady all this time. You said this wedding is not going to last and they shouldn't even get married. But you over here upset that she took your name off the list. You better be glad that's all she did. And the only reason you in here because she wanted that wedding film. That's exactly what it is. So she said, Sweet Tea responds saying, I'm mad at you. We'll talk about it later. Basically like, girl, don't piss on my parade. I'm having a good old time right now. I'm line dancing with my family, having a good old time. Go eat your beef Wellington and shut the hell up. I'm like, damn, y'all had beef Wellington? Do you know that beef Wellington, if made well, has a time period on it? Like you have to eat that at a certain time right after it's made. Like right after it's made. I went to, I can't think of the chef from Hell's Kitchen that be cussing people out. I went to his restaurant it's Hell's Kitchen in Las Vegas. Chef Ramsay, I think that's his name. And my friends, I don't do the raw meats. Like beef Wellington, it has to be made one way in his restaurant. It is rather raw to me, but the dish is very expensive. Like on the menu, I think the beef Wellington by itself is like $75 just for the beef Wellington. So y'all had that as an option for people to have at your wedding? Y'all spent a coin on this wedding. It wasn't a Candy Burris coin, I'm sure, even though it looks similar. But all in all, I'm glad that they had a good time. I'm glad that they got married. I hope it lasts. I hope they had some cheering. I hope that Dr. G doesn't act like the controlling person that we saw him with Quad. And I do see that Sweet Tea is much more submissive than Quad. So I have a good outlook for this marriage, hopefully, until we see otherwise. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching this show too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.